Another win for Iran at the Asian Cup. On today's episode, we will recap and analyze Iran's match against Hong Kong and preview Iran's upcoming match against the United Arab Emirates. You know the deal, and you know what time it is. It's time for Team Melli Talk. How would Iran play against a familiar opponent? Hey everyone, welcome back to Team Melli Talk. We know what you want, so let's get right to Iran's starting lineup against Hong Kong. Getting the starting goal once again, Ali Reza Behranvand. Now for the back line, Milad Mohammadi, Majid Hosseini, Hossein Kanani, Ramin Rezaian. Now for the midfielders, Mehdi Gaidi, Ruzbeh Cheshmi, Saman Goldus, Ali Reza Jahanbash. And up top, Mehdi Taremi and Shahryar Moganlu. A different starting lineup from head coach Amir Ghalenoui, but Iran was playing against a team that was not expected to create many problems. Both teams were ready. Ghalenoui made some changes with his starting lineup, and Jorn Andersen made some changes with his lineup as well. And of course, the Team Melli supporters were also ready. Early in the match, a long-range shot from Mehdi Gaidi goes straight to Yap Hung Fai. But in the 17th minute, Hong Kong nearly took the lead through Everton after a poor clearance from Ruzbeh Cheshmi. Behranvand came out to no man's land, but Everton's shot went over the bar. Iran found the breakthrough in the 24th minute, a beautiful finish from Mehdi Gaidi. It was almost a carbon copy of the goal he scored against Palestine. This was a goal that Iran definitely needed, and the fans were able to celebrate. Just like the first half, Iran did not create much excitement in the second half as well. There were times when Hong Kong was playing with more effort and determination. Iran had a free kick opportunity late in the second half, but Ramin Rezaian's shot was saved nicely by Yap Hung Fai. Late in stoppage time, Behranvand had to come off his line to save the day, but he actually touched the ball with his hands outside the penalty area and should have been red carded. And that's the way it finished, a 1-0 win for Iran over Hong Kong. With Iran's win over Hong Kong and the draw between UAE and Palestine, Iran has booked a spot in the second round. As for the statistics, Iran had more total shots, more shots on target, and much more possession. But I am not in the mood to be fooled by numbers. This was a horrible match played by Iran, and Iran was sluggish right from the very beginning. And as for Hong Kong, well, Hong Kong did a good job of slowing down Iran, but also exposed weaknesses in Iran's midfield. But what is really irritating is that Hong Kong played with more effort. This is very concerning, but it is something I will analyze more later. Next, there are a good amount of players that I need to talk about. And when I say talk about, I obviously mean constructive criticism. Starting with Ali Reza Jahanbash, he had about 4 giveaways against Hong Kong. I don't know what the deal is with Ali Reza Jahanbash. All I can say is that he should have been subbed off early in the second half. Next, Ruzbeh Cheshmi was by far one of the worst players on the pitch for Team Melli. His pass that was blocked in the 17th minute nearly led to a goal for Everton Camargo. And another one of his mistakes, which also led to a goal-scoring opportunity, was a result of his poor positioning and lack of physicality. Ramin Rezaian was not sharp at all, and he is not in good form right now. Ramin gave the ball away on a few occasions, but even worse, he was muscled off the ball as well. Mehdi Gaidi scored an excellent goal for Iran, but he gave the ball away a couple of times. But aside from that, he was my man of the match, and we continue to see why he belongs in Team Melli. Milad Mohammadi got the assist on the goal scored by Gaidi, but I was speechless when he dribbled the ball out of bounds during an attack. And we also cannot forget that Milad Mohammadi almost scored a goal for Hong Kong in the first half. Hossein Kanani also made some mistakes, but that is always expected. Before I continue this analysis, let's see what my good friend Arash Ostovari had to say about Iran's 1-0 victory over Hong Kong.
We still have a lot of problem in defense. We defense structure, defense shape, I mean, we do have good defenders, but just the shape, structure, and defense plan, and sometimes even I would say basic terms of defense is not there. Uh, I'm honestly really upset with Team Melli performance under Ghalanoi, and we had some change in the start as well for Hong Kong, which I think Shahriar Moghallu and Ruzbe Cheshmi are not within Team Melli standards. Ruzbe had a lot of mistake that some of them ended up giving opportunity to the opponent, and Shahriar, with all the respect, is not within Team Melli standards. As an Iranian, I would say Team Melli is not only showcase of our football, it's showcase of our country and nation. And I want to see a world-class coach on the bench of Team Melli who can play football with the potential we have and with the players we have. We should be really a lot better than this. That's all I think about Hong Kong. And definitely against solid teams, we're gonna have a lot of issues in defense because literally Ghalanoi didn't have any plan in defense and offense as well. So he just based on players' creativity, I guess.
Thank you, Arash, for sharing your point of view regarding Iran's 1-0 win over Hong Kong. Always appreciate you taking the time, and it appears that we are on the same page. Continuing with my analysis, yes, Mehdi Tarmi also did not play very well against Hong Kong. But what was really alarming is that after the match, Mehdi Tarmi was quoted as saying, "Our team was not mentally prepared for this match, and we did not perform well." Really? Not mentally prepared? What was there to be mentally prepared for? Iran defeated Hong Kong 4-0 in November in a World Cup qualifier. Taremi's words are very concerning. And of course, now I have no choice but to talk about Amir Ghalanoi. After the match, Amir Ghalanoi was quoted saying, "Iranian players are inconsistent. For years as a coach, I have had problems with these players." These words from Amir Ghalanoi are just terrible. I mean, he is the head coach of Iran, and he is not supposed to be insulting his players. Instead, he should be saying things like, "We did not play well," "We did not finish our opportunities," or "It is my job to have everybody prepared." I am not surprised about Amir Ghalanoi's behavior or demeanor at all. I have said plenty of negative things about him, and we continue to see why he is not a good coach. The UAE. This is a team that Iran is also very familiar with. Let's take a look at the all-time history. Total dominance overall for Iran, and Iran has also dominated the UAE when the two teams have crossed paths at the Asian Cup. 4 wins for Iran, and 1 match ended in a draw. The UAE has appeared in 10 Asian Cups. Their best finish was second place back in 1996 when the tournament was hosted in the United Arab Emirates. The last meeting between these teams took place in the final round of 2022 World Cup qualifying. Iran scored a 1-0 win at the Azadi Stadium. Mehdi Tarmi was the goal scorer on that day. The United Arab Emirates are coming off a 1-1 draw with Palestine. Their only goal was scored by striker Sultan Adil. But before I continue, let's learn more about the UAE from a conversation I had with my good friend, Maher Sharifi. Now, for the next segment of the show, we're joined by my good friend, who is actually basically, I think, is the perfect person to have, when talking about Iran and how they match up against the United Arab Emirates. My guest right now is my good friend Maher Sharifi, and of course, not just being a diehard supporter of the national team of Iran, but Maher has lived in Dubai and on and off for about over 20 years. I'm pretty sure that's right. Is that correct, Maher?
Yeah, even more than Spain, yeah.
Okay, so like I said, so it's great to have you here, and so let's just get right to it. I got a few questions for you, and United Arab Emirates is one of 5 teams, along with Qatar, India, Vietnam, and Saudi Arabia. UAE is one of these teams that has a squad that is fully domestic based, meaning they're all playing in the UAE Premier League. And in my opinion, the UAE League is not very special. It's not a very special league. And now, in your opinion, what do you think is keeping the United Arab Emirates from becoming a better team? Because they've only been to the World Cup once, but they actually play a little better in the Asian Cup in recent years. So, like I said, in your opinion, what do you think is stopping the United Arab Emirates from becoming a better team?
Okay, if I can start, I mean, United Arab Emirates, they are all the time trying to be one of the best in many perspectives. But coming back to the football, when I hear all the time from the many news or I don't know what is after the matches when they have the leagues conversation, what in one sentence what I can mention is unfortunately lack of interest in football in the United Arab Emirates is very clearly visible. So lack of interest in football, unfortunately, and in generally sports. So this could be the main reason, which is like, everything is domestic and United Arab Emirates is not developing so much in the sports side.
And next, when talking about the players to watch, I've come up with my list of players: Sultan Adil, Fabio Lima, and Yahya Al Ghassani. Now let's face it, Fabio, from what I've seen, he's a decent playmaker. Yes, he's one of the naturalized Brazilians on the UAE national team, so he's a decent playmaker. Yahya Al Ghassani, he's a fast, speedy winger. And next, Sultan Adil. He is only 19 years old, and he's
Mhm.
basically next in line to become the next star striker for the United Arab Emirates, to take the place of Ali Mabhout. So from these three players, I mean, what do you think of them? But more importantly, is there another player that I'm missing? Is there someone else of that is basically another dangerous player on this UAE team?
Yeah, besides three players, I can also mention Tahnoun Al-Zawabi. He also is a good player. I guess maybe you have seen the first match. He's a midfielder. He also plays quite good in this team. I mean, beside those three, I can put also this Tahnoun Al-Zawabi, one like fourth player, which is like really, dominating the whole UAE team. And of course, beside that, the Ali Khasib, the old goalkeeper, which is captain of the team. So which is like quite like old star. So beside that, I don't think so. Also, Mahfoud also, I guess those five players could be like very important for the national team of the UAE.
Maher, I really appreciate you taking the time to join me on Team Melli Talk. It's always a pleasure to have you on the show, man.
I appreciate it. Have a nice day then. Take care.
Thank you again, Maher, for sharing your input. Really appreciate it. So you heard him. The other player to watch is midfielder Tahnoun Al-Zabi of Al Wahda. The head coach of the UAE is former Portuguese footballer Paulo Bento. Bento was the head coach of Portugal at Euro 2012 and at the 2014 World Cup in Brazil. But most importantly, he was actually head coach of South Korea from 2018 to 2022, so he is definitely familiar with Iran. As for the keys to victory, number 1, tighten up in midfield. Number 2, play with more effort. When I look back at Iran's dull 1-0 victory over Hong Kong, I really believe that Iran was lacking energy. Of course, they were also lacking focus. I mean, overall, it was just a really bad game. But, this is why I think that playing with more energy and more effort definitely will be the keys to defeating the United Arab Emirates. And let's not forget, Iran will face the UAE on January 23rd at the Education City Stadium in Al Rayyan. At this point, it is difficult for me to have more things to say because Iran played really poorly as a team against Hong Kong. But this kind of play cannot continue because the UAE surely will punish Iran if adjustments aren't made. Now, to finish off this edition of Team Melli Talk, I have this phrase in my head that is very important to me, and that is, attitude reflects leadership. And to me, it is clear that Amir Ghalanoui is not a good leader because he is comfortable with throwing his players under a bus and not taking accountability.